Good, good evening. Welcome to the studio this evening, where we are just going to play with some beads. I'm going to do some extend this tube to this number of rows, which is an unknown number, so I'm just going to count it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. $25. Okay. Don't know if I have enough white beads to do 25 rows, but we will do so. And so basically just carry on with this. That sound is a little loud for me. Okay, so I am just making a bead tube. Not quite decided what to do with it after that, although I've got an idea. But I'm just going to make this side look like that side so it's even, and then I don't know, I might string it on a wire and make it the center of a necklace. Seems like as good an idea as anything. I think if I'd have thought about it first, I'd have probably put the white on in the middle rather than having it at the end, but well, too late now. Why is that wrong? Somewhere in there we've lost one. Okay, so that's wrong. And yet I can't see where it's wrong. Actually I can. It's not wrong, it's me. I gotta go through that bead there, and then that's it. I was looking for it looked like it to go through the white, and that would have meant I was using odd count rather than even count, and I wasn't. I was using even count, so that would have meant I'd lost a bead somewhere. But anyway, you get out of the way. Don't tie knots. Okay, these whites are going to be a little bit harder to see too. So we've done 2 rows, we're now starting row 3. I've got 25 to do. So just rolling it like that, keeping a little bit of tension on the thread, and it just tightens up all the beads. For some reason I'm getting caught left, right and centre in this, and it's really looser than I want it to be. Come on, tighten up. I'm all fingers and thumbs, and the code is, well, the thread is going all sorts of places but where I want it to go. Ooh, I don't know what's up tonight. Can't even get a bead on the needle. Out of the way, tail. This is a real nice, it's quite a good stitch to do if you're trying to put the wrap this around something else. So like a cord through the middle, or wrap it around, say, like a pencil or something like that. Because you kind of build it up as you go along. You can sort of do the very first layer at whatever height width, length is necessary to go all the way around the piece, and then you just keep going round and round and round and round and round and round until it's all covered, or as you've covered as much as you need. So I'm just creating a tube here for no other reason than I wanted to create a tube. And once I've done it, I'm going to see what I'm going to do with it. I don't know quite what. I think I might turn it into I could turn it into a necklace. It won't be long enough for a bracelet on its own, but I might turn it into a necklace. There's a focal point in a necklace, which might be interesting. We'll have a look. So the one thing about working with white, for some reason, it seems harder to see than the other colours were. I don't have the right colours, otherwise I suppose I could have made it red, white and blue. A bit like that one. Oh, that's the spiral, this isn't. that one naturally spirals. I could create a spiral in this design, but that's quite a bit of work as you go along, making sure you pick the right beads at the right time. Possible to do, it's just a little bit more complicated. This would actually be a bit easier if I did have something to put in the core of this, just to hold it circular whilst I'm working on it. Because you're kind of able to squash it slightly, which means you can't roll it between your fingers as you move around. You're just going round and round and round, and being able to roll it nice and easily makes it a bit easier to do that. When it sort of flattens it out, squashes slightly, and then it doesn't roll, and it just makes it a little bit more awkward to work your way around. There's something wrong there. I think what I'll do is just back that row out. I think I've missed a bead. And if I'm lucky, I can just stitch backwards through the beads, and they will just pop off. Sometimes that doesn't work because of the way the cord wraps through the bead. And if that's the case, you end up taking the needle off and just pulling the thread out by hand. But that actually probably would be quicker as well. But yeah, it's there. I think where. Yep, I skipped a bead, so that should have gone through there and through there. First, to just keep an eye out, because if I'd have got much further, it would have been quite a bit of a pain to backtrack to put that right. I'd managed to lose one bead in the count going round, and change from an even to an odd count. So I wasn't getting a bead in the position I was expecting to see it, and therefore that was what made me stop and check. If I put that camera in a different position. A mouse here somewhere, there we go. Okay, bit of a close-up on what I'm working on for a while. Yeah, and white is definitely not the easiest to work on. The other colours were a lot easier. All I've got to do is remember to keep my hand on frame. That's the only problem when you're doing a close-up. If you're not careful, if you work normally or naturally, you tend to drift off frame as you move around. But of course, all I've got to remember to do is keep my hand in the same place basically. And focus is still off slightly. There we go. Of course, at this close-up, focus changes as well very quickly, so I come out of there and I'm going to go through that. So this is a type of bead stringing or weaving called peyote stitch. Quite why it's called that I don't know. Potentially it's got something to do with Native Americans, but I don't actually know that. It's most often used in sheets, but because of the nature of it, you can wrap a sheet into a tube like this. It works quite well. So it's quite a nice stitch for wrapping around things. So you could wrap this around an object like a pen or something like that. You could even wrap it around something as large as something like a mug or one of these tubes, for example. So you could wrap it around something like one of these to create like a bespoke, or like if you wanted to make a present of a tube with beads in, you could wrap it in beads as well. Now this particular tube is just for the fun of doing it. I didn't have any particular done something wrong there. Just got the thread wrapped around somewhere it shouldn't have been. Yeah, so just doing this just for fun, just to have a bit of practice at doing a tubular string. But as I said earlier in the stream, I may just turn this into a necklace, use this as a focal point of a necklace. So what I'm going to do is make the white on this side equal to the purple down here, so that they're both the same length, then it doesn't look odd. Is that my step up? Yeah, it is. So I actually want to do 25 rows of this in order to match the other side. I'm probably about halfway there now. See if I can tighten this up a bit. Okay, let's see how many rows I've got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So not many more to go. Another 7. Well, if I'm going to have enough thread, I hope so. I don't have to thread another set of thread on. With 35 beads. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Okay, so I'll put those on and then that should be long enough. Make this thread a bit longer. I'm trying to stretch it, by which I don't mean physically stretch it, I mean just keep trying to make it just go that little bit further. Okay, can I push just one more circle? Might just be able to. We're going to have fun trying to tie it off. Else if you get it right though, and I've got it wrong, so I have to backtrack that a little bit. Yep, that bead should not have been on that thread there. Right, that's the last bead. So, and now just see if we can tie this off. now then, what I'm just going to do here is just bury this thread. Like that. And now I'll just cut that off. I'd normally use a scalpel for this, but it's elsewhere, so I'll just cut it with a pair of cutters like that. Now what I'm going to do is on this other end here, I need to just bury this cord or this thread, so I'll just do that by sewing it into the weave. And if I get the end of the needle that's got an eye in it, I'll be able to thread the needle. And so all I do now is just weave this back into down the tube here, just passing it through other beads, following the same path of thread, so I'm not creating any thread, what they call thread bridges, in places where there weren't any before. What I'm going to try and do now is catch under, there we go, catch under a thread so that I can tie a knot. Now when you're doing bead stringing like this, 90% of what keeps the thread in place is down to friction. You almost could do this without tying knots at all, just by passing it through enough beads and changing angle, so going like a zigzag, and then there's enough friction there most of the time to not need to actually even bother tying knots, but you do just in case, and it does help stop the thread slipping back. A couple of more, or three, there we go, and then I'll cut that off, and that's that tube complete. There we go. So all it is, just a peyote tube. What I might do is flatten it, but what I'm going to try and do is I've got some stringing wire here, and what I'm going to do, I think, is just bring a loop through there, and have I got, yes I have. I've got a small toggle and bar. This is in stainless steel, but that's fine because it will go with the colour of the stringing wire. This may look silly, but we'll have a go, see what it looks like. Now then, let's do about 18 inches. So I'm just going to cut about 19 inches off. That's 15. And about there. So I'm leaving myself some on the end because I'm going to wrap it sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but I'm going to get annoyed with this thread in a minute. I'm going to crimp the edges is the word I was looking for. So I need some crimps, which is one I've got here, little what looks like little silver balls. There we go. And a pair of crimping pliers. So first of all, I'll crimp one end. I'll crimp it around this bar, and I nearly did what I always do with these things. That is, forget to put the crimps on first. You've got to put these on first because, well, it's not so bad on your first end, but once you get to your other end, you can't put the crimps on backwards. So I'm just creating a loop, and I will pass that wire back through both those crimps. So now I'm going to crimp these, basically just squash them. That was good. Now that should be tight. It isn't. No, they're not working really well at all. Try that again. All right. One crimp. Two crimps. Put the end on. Feed the crimps back through, or the wire back through the crimps. Pull them up. They look horrible. And of course, now that that looks horrible, it's not going to come off, is it? Mm-hmm. These crimping pliers actually don't crimp down far enough. Sorry I'm working off camera, but it's quite hard to actually work on camera with this. Okay, I'm going to make one last attempt at doing this, and if this doesn't work, then I'm not going to do it. I'll have to find another way of doing it, because these crimps are not working very well at all. So I'm going to do is try a triple. Crimps are actually too big for this wire. They're supposed to be for this wire, but they're actually working as though they're too big. So I'm going to pass this wire through a third time. And we'll try that, and if this doesn't work, we'll move on to a plan Z. Plan Z, because I have no idea what it is going to be. Okay, let's see whether putting extra ones through will help. It's sort of there, but I'm not really happy with it. No, okay, I give up on that one. That is not working at all very well. I don't like it. What I was going to try and do was to feed this down the centre of here. So it was just strung as a single strand wire necklace with a clasp at the top, which I will have to work out a different way altogether of fastening, but just like that. So it just hung. Possibly squash that down a little bit so it lays flat, but apart from that, that was it. So question is, how on earth do we crimp these? Now I certainly had an expectation that these crimps would work, and they're not. That might have done it. So let's try adding a second crimp. See if this is just down to how I'm doing it. That may well be it. Okay. have to remember to put the crimps on first, otherwise I can't get them on afterwards. Okay, that's done. So, dog lumbar. And what we've got then is just a, I wish the light was a little bit different. Come over here, light. There we go. So on the thin wire, it's not quite an invisible wire, but it sort of is just a wire. Just a little bit of fun, it sort of works. There we go. Well, I think that'll be it for tonight now. I'm not going to do anything else tonight, so I'm going to say thank you to everybody that's watching. Thank you for dropping in and taking a look at what I'm doing. I'm not quite sure what I'll be doing next tomorrow, but we shall see. I should be on tomorrow night from around about 8 PM UK time, 2000 hours UTC or GMT, Greenwich Mean Time. Thank you all from the White Rose of Yorkshire. Have a great evening and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.